Good morning. Welcome to Life in the Higham House. It is a Monday morning. We are glad that you are here. Coming off of a very good but busy weekend. And jumping into what's going to be a busy day, potentially a busy week. I don't know. Active week, not busy. Busy has that idea that you're just bombarded with stuff. We're not bombarded. We got a lot of things happening this week. Got a lot of things happening today. But they're scheduled, routine, blocked out, like things that we would be doing. But it is going to be a busy Monday. It's going to be a very active Monday because we got a lot of things to do today. Got a lot of things to kind of recap from the weekend. A lot of things to organize as we go forward because we're almost in October. Crazy. Like, it seems like we just started September, and now here we are in our the last full week of September, and we're gonna be into October soon. And then before you know it, we're gonna be rolling right into Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and 2024 will be over. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll have plenty of time to talk about those things, connect about those things, because you know how much we love November and December and the holiday season. But right now, our first thing that we need to do, it's early in the morning still. Amy's already left for work. Brea has already left for school. And I have, as I said, a very active day of things I need to catch up on and do. And so, first thing we need to do is wake the chickens, feed them, water them, wake the ducks, feed them, water them. Max is already out. We still haven't introduced you to Max. Let me just give you a quick introduction. That's Max. Can you see Max in there? Good morning, Max. How are you? We'll talk about Max at another time. I've mentioned before, Brea has a new project that she is beginning. Yes, good morning, Max. It's good to see you. Look, he came over to say hi. Good morning, Max. How are you? Looking good today. I'll show you Ruby inside. But we got lots to do today. So, wait a minute. Why are those lights not on? Uh-oh. Did something come unplugged? I think something came unplugged. We'll have to check this out. I got no lights in the shed. Oh well, let me get to feeding the animals and getting them all out and about, and then I'll tell you about my weekend, and we'll just celebrate and give God all the glory because good things are happening, and we're super excited about that. It's Life in the Higham House. Brand new week. Let's go. As I said in the beginning, we were away this weekend. Traveled down to Philadelphia, which is kind of home base for us. At least that's where I grew up. To do a support raising trip for our ministry role with NNYM. And I always love coming back and checking on the animals after we've been away because, you know, we want to see how they're doing and all that good stuff. And so we had the boys taking care of the animals while we were away. And I love doing the bucket feeders because I'm able to fill them up so that while we're away, really all the boys have to do is wake them up, let them out, and then make sure they get to bed on time. Feeding, watering with the bucket feeders, I can fill up to the two bucket feeders. They are good for a solid weekend. So I put food in there this morning, but there was still probably enough food that if we had one more day away, there still was enough food in the bucket feeders for them. So I love that I can fill those buckets and know that it's enough to cover a weekend and a day or so. Same with the water. There was just a little bit in there. Water may not have finished off today, but generally I've got 2 waterers. Right now the one's broken and I got to get it fixed. But with 2 waterers in there, it easily lasts the weekend and a day or so. So it's just really cool to have those features in there. And I know I'm already looking at some trips coming up towards the end of the year and then into next year that are probably going to be longer away trips. But we're going to bring in some larger barrels to fill with water and food for those type of trips. And then once we get our automatic doors, taking care of the chickens is going to be a pretty easy job, because automatic door will open at a certain time, it'll close at a certain time, which means the chickens are out at a time in the morning that I want them to be out, and at night when they're all back in the coop, the door can close and I know that we're safe. The larger feeders will allow me to give them food for an extended period of time. That's good. And so looking forward to that and what that's going to look like coming up really, really soon. But shout out to Aiden and Asher. They did a great job. You know, all the chickens survived the weekend. They made sure they were up. They made sure they were secured at night. I'm happy, grateful for them. And shout out to our wonderful neighbor who often helps us when we're away with our chickens. She had to come in on Friday night. There was some miscommunication with our boys about who was doing what. And she was able to come on down to the house and take care of the chickens for us. And that's a huge help. And so thank you, Sharon. We appreciate all of your help when it comes to taking care of the chickens. But let's let the ducks out, see how they're doing this morning. They are still super skittish. I'm going to have to, in the coming weekend, spend more time out here with them so that they become comfortable with me. They're getting there. I mean, they're khaki Campbells, which generally are a little more skittish. They're a little more, you know, when you get near them, they'll take off. That's kind of just their nature. But we want to get to a point where we walk into their pen and they don't run from us. With all of my other ducks, like, I don't know that I ever got to a place with the ducks where, you know, I could walk into a pen and they would, you know, come over and greet me. Chickens, they will come when I call them. They will follow me through the yard when they know I have food. They have no problem coming up to me. I mean, even some of the chickens will eat right out of my hand. And in the past, I've had ducks that have been able to do that. So my hope is that with these ducks, we will eventually be able to get them trained enough that they will be able to eat out of our hands as well. But let me get the ducks taken care of, and I'll fill you in with our weekend, and we'll get this week started. So as I was saying, this weekend we made a trip to Philadelphia, and it was really cool. It was probably my first like real support raising trip for my ministry role with NNYM. And it was meeting with the church, my mother's church, which is actually in the denomination that I grew up in, the Reformed Episcopal Church. And it was just a great time to head out that direction, spend some time with my mom, but also to get a chance to actually talk to a group of people about NNYM and what it is that I am doing and will be doing as we enter kind of this like mission field role of working with youth leaders and students in the Appalachia region. It was great. It wasn't a huge turnout, but it was a good first time out group. And so we were really glad with who was there, and we were really glad with the outcome. It was a great chance for me to, do this for the first time, kind of do it in, familiar terrain. We actually met at St. Luke's Bishop Hoffman, which is one of our churches, one of the churches in the denomination. But it's unique because it was the church that I started youth ministry at as a high school seminary student way back in the early 90s. My story goes, we went to Germany on a mission trip as a teenager. Kind of had my spiritual crisis with God in the sense that I knew a lot about God, but I felt like I didn't really know God, didn't really have a relationship with Him. I just kind of knew all the book stuff. So it didn't connect from head to heart just yet. But on the retreat, on that mission trip, that connection happened, and my life went from knowing about God to learning to coming to know God and have a relationship with Him. And that really came because some of the other students that were on the trip with me were very involved in their church's youth group. And at the time, our church didn't have a youth group. We had a phenomenal Sunday school program where I learned a ton, and this is not a fault to anyone. It's just we didn't have a youth group. And so, for me, I was missing that connection between knowledge about God and a relationship with God. And so that's what I was seeing in these other students. They had made that connection, and they had youth leaders that helped them make that connection. And so it was on that trip, I kind of recommitted my life to Christ, began a relationship with Him, and then coming out of that trip, really felt a call from God to go into youth ministry. And that's how I started youth ministry. And so we came home from the trip, I sat down with my parents and said, hey, is there a possibility that we can get a youth group started? Maybe partnering with some of the other churches in our area. And that's what we did. And for the first year, the parents were kind of like the steering committee, and they were the ones who were planning and doing stuff. And then as I was entering my senior year, I asked if I could become a little more active, saying that this is what I want to do. I want to go to seminary. Is it possible that I could do Bible studies or something? And they said yeah. And so for that next year, I kind of figured out what it looked like to become a youth pastor, youth director. And then when I graduated high school, one of the churches that we had partnered with said, hey, since you're going into seminary, would you mind being our youth director, and we'll give you a stipend each month to help you maybe with books or school or whatever. And I said sure. And so we did that. And that church, St. Luke's Bishop Hoffman, that was the church that that was the first time I was really recognized as a youth person, someone working with students. And so it was really kind of fun to go back and do this first big support presentation at the church, where really it's where it started. And so we came out of that, and we're thrilled to have St. Luke's Bishop Hoffman as a ministry partner now. And we're just excited to be able to share with them the ministry that we have to youth leaders and to students in our area as we get started and build these networks and come alongside youth workers to offer mentoring and coaching and resources to be able to speak in front of students. And we're looking forward to all of that. And St. Luke's Bishop Hoffman, thank you so much for welcoming us into your church. We were there Saturday and worshiped on Sunday. Thanks for all your support. Thank you for your gift. Thank you for your prayers. And thank you for becoming a ministry partner with us. And I look forward to coming and visiting with you guys every couple of months and sharing with you what it looks like and what God's doing here in the Appalachia area with students and with youth leaders. So thank you so much. Yeah, so it was a great weekend away, and we're going to be planning a few more of those trips to visit some other churches that we either have served with or partnered with or have done youth ministries in some connection or relation. So if you're one of those churches and you'd love for us to come and share with you, we would love to connect with you and share all of that. But I got a kind of a very busy, active day today. We got some thank you notes to write out. We've got some work to do. I'm just really excited about this week to come. It is the last week of the month, which just means we're that much closer to October and ready to jump into some of those things. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird vlog this morning. Probably a little longer than normal, but that's okay. I wanted to share that with you because I really am looking forward to working with NNYM. I'm looking forward to getting fully funded and being able to go and do this mission, this work that we feel God has called us to, and we're excited about it. And I'll probably end up sharing more about that here on the vlog as that becomes more of our world and our reality and our ministry, because we've always shared our ministry with you, and so we want to continue to do that. Thank you so much for being a part of life in the Higham house and our journey of faith and family and backyard farming and all the other stuff that we do. Like, we love sharing it with you guys. We hope it's an encouragement to you when it comes to the family stuff. We have a lot of family stuff coming in as we get closer to the holidays, and we hope, our reason for doing the family stuff is always to encourage families to set aside time to do fun family things. And we just hope, as we share those things, they are encouraging to you. Maybe there's some great ideas in there that you guys, you can implore with your families, things that you can do with your kids. But outside of that, be sure to follow us on our blog, lifeinthehigham.com, and then of course social media. We kind of have a quiet weekend, or it wasn't a quiet weekend. It was a quiet week on social media because we were busy doing other things. But we will post some updates and more pictures of some things that were happening. And so be sure you're following us on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. And I really got to go. Thank you so much, everybody. This is Life in the Higham House. We'll see you later.